Hi, I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Welcome to another segment of the Grassroots Business Journal. I am your host, Paul Wilusz, and today we have as our guest Bonnie Stewart, Vice President of the CBIA. Bonnie, a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. We were having our pre-talk before the program here, and maybe just explain a little bit about what the CBIA is, first of all, and your role in that.
Sure. The CBIA, the Connecticut Business and Industry Association, is an organization that represents Connecticut businesses. We try to advocate on their behalf to make Connecticut a more economically competitive state. And we try to help them out in other ways, such as answering questions regarding best practices, compliance with various laws, and bringing together CBIA's numbers to the benefit of our members so that they can buy en masse, whether it be through our Health Connections program, Energy Connections, just different ways to make it a little bit easier to do business here in Connecticut through CBIA.
Now, is this a member organization, or can anyone just become a part of CBIA?
We are a member organization, so we have any business in Connecticut can join CBIA. You do have to be a business in order to join CBIA. Okay. But CBIA works a lot with various groups, whether it be the school systems, we're very active in the Hartford school system, or with other organizations. So even though in order to be a member of CBIA, CBIA has a lot of touches out there throughout the state and throughout the communities because of the types of work we do. Okay.
Now, I know that a couple of weeks ago, the legislature put its agenda for the year. Is that correct, for establishing their agenda? And what do you see as probably the number one goal that CBIA will address or to become involved with?
We're actually looking at the legislative session in a much broader manner than we usually do. So instead of just talking about what are we going to do this year to try to make things better this year alone, CBIA is part of an initiative to try to move Connecticut into the top 20 states economically in terms of our economic competitiveness by 2017. Okay. We want to move Connecticut up. So we have identified what we need to do by 2017, as well as what steps both state agencies and the legislature can take in 2014 to try to start moving Connecticut up. So those are key issues for us, and it all surrounds really making sure that we've got the infrastructure here in Connecticut that we need, whether it be education, to make sure that we've got the workforce that we need for the future, to make sure that we've got the transportation system in place, the energy system in place, and start to address some of our problems in terms of the cost of doing business in Connecticut.
I guess it's been like an issue where businesses are leaving Connecticut, and that exodus that's been around. How is CBIA trying to address that, and as you said, taking those initiatives to try to either keep businesses here or to draw businesses in? Right. What do you see as that your organization can help in that regard?
Well, one of the things that we've been paying attention to are all the competitiveness rankings that are out there. So for example, MSCNBC has put together a ranking to show how states compare to each other when it comes to our economic competitiveness. Okay. So on that, in that rankings, they have an overall ranking, and then they rank each of the individual issues that they're looking at. So for example, when it comes to Connecticut's overall ranking, unfortunately, we're fairly low. I'm going to draw a blank, but we're either 45th or 47th, but that last number's not coming to me. But long and short of it is, we're very low, unfortunately. And being low in this case is not a good thing. But if you look at the individual factors, it shows that Connecticut does have some positives, such as our quality of life, that's ranked very high. Education is ranked high, but dropping, so it's an area where we know we need to pay attention to.
Okay.
But then when you get to things like the cost of doing business, unfortunately we rank as a problem state, and the same is true with our transportation infrastructure.
Okay.
So one of the things that we're going to be doing, because we all know there's a World Wide Web and you don't have to be in Connecticut to know what's happening in Connecticut anymore. You can be anywhere. So what we really want to do is to make sure that the perception about what's happening in Connecticut in terms of our business friendliness and how we rank in quality of life and everything, as well as the reality, the different factors that lead to, why Connecticut's perceived a certain way, that we start to address some of those issues. If we're doing something well, keep it up, see if there's a way we can do it even better. If we're not doing something well, let's look at ways to change that so Connecticut can move up that economic competitiveness ladder.
Okay. And what do you see as being, what would help to help us get higher on that level in that perception?
I think clearly looking at our education system, in 2012, the state legislature did adopt a lot of education reforms. We have a significant achievement gap in Connecticut. And like I said, unfortunately, while we were once number 1, we dropped to 3 last year, and now we're down to 5. We don't want to keep on going down the ladder there. We want to stop that. Those reforms that were adopted in 2012, they're comprehensive, so it's going to take a while to implement everything. But we want to make sure that those reforms are implemented, because we do need to make sure that we've got students with the science, technology, English and math, STEM skills that are needed to be productive workers. We also need people with other skills, so we're talking about workforce training. We have a lot of manufacturing jobs in Connecticut that are going unfilled now because people don't have the machining skills, etc., that they can get through their local technical high school or one of the technical community colleges. So there's lots of opportunities, but we have to make sure that the right programs are placed and that the people are aware of it so that we can start, again, moving ourselves up when it comes to education. Transportation is another big issue. For us to rank 49th, that's a problem. It shows that there is a problem. So we need to make sure that we've got the infrastructure, both in terms of our bridges and highways, as well as mass transit. And we've seen a lot of trouble with both of those recently. So hopefully that's an area where the legislature starts to pay a bit more attention so we can address some of our problems in terms of congestion, as well as, just mass transit. One of the things that's being talked about right now quite a bit for the greater Hartford area is having the train line from New Haven right up to Springfield. So you've got a good commuter system in place. And if we link that into Bradley Airport, that's a benefit for a lot of people. We have a lot of people and product that move through the airport. But if it was just a little bit easier, we could have even more. And we love any opportunities to increase our economic opportunities. So that would be a good one.
So do you see anything from the legislature moving in those directions? And as you mentioned, there's been talk about that rail system from the corridor from Springfield to New Haven, but also from like the road systems, 84, 91, 95.
Right.
How do you see where the necessary transportation can address those particular concerns as far as people getting to and from businesses? And how can that be rectified?
That can be addressed in part both on the legislative and the regulatory front. And what I mean by that, there are steps that the legislature can take to both give the Department of Transportation guidance as well as bonding projects to make sure the funds are available to actually implement those projects or put them in place. The Department of Transportation has a slew of projects on their board, but we need to do something to help them and to energize them so that they're now prioritizing those and start moving on those that have the biggest bang for the buck to start with. And that's something actually that the Department of Transportation is working on now. They have actually started an initiative to reach out and find out how you as a business or how you as a resident of Connecticut. So they're reaching out to several different groups, and they're asking, what is it that you're finding most problematic? Do you have any suggestions on how we can deal with that? These are some of our plans. What's your feedback there? I think when the state agencies reach out and receive input, that's really important because they may have a project scan in terms of the different things that they feel they should be working on. But they don't have any input from the public as a whole. That's going to be a problem because you don't know whether it's a plan that actually works. You don't know what someone's next initiative is going to be, where they're planning on placing that next facility or a school, etc. So hopefully with that feedback, they'll be better able to address our needs going forward. So there's a lot we can do this year to make sure that those projects are not only on that board, but start being addressed. You know, we want them to start moving forward with those projects. That's key for us. We really need to start moving forward. A lot of projects have been identified. We need to prioritize and take action.
Now, a question that I had asked during our prep talk was, is the leadership within the state ready to take on those types of initiatives and to begin to really take these things seriously? I mean, and I'm talking from the wide political spectrum. Is the leadership out there really able and willing to take those initiatives and move them forward?
I think we have leaders that are capable of doing that. Is that where their focus is right now? I don't think that all of our leaders are focused in on that right now. They may have a particular project or a couple that they're focused in on. But the overall, you know, moving Connecticut up the economic competitiveness ladder, no, I don't think that's where they're focused now. So it's our job as Connecticut businesses, as Connecticut residents, to start talking to them about that. The state faces challenges. All states do. But there's lots of opportunities with that. Let's rise to the challenge and start to make Connecticut a better place for everyone. If we work to make our education system better, our transportation system better, I mean, everyone benefits. But it's incumbent upon us as residents of Connecticut to communicate the need and desire for that to our legislative and regulatory leaders. It's really important. So we have the people out there that are capable. Now it's incumbent upon us to start pushing them and letting them know, hey, we care about this. You need to help move us up. Because they've got the power to do that with their votes and the decisions they're making regarding regulations.
Do you see, well, let me put it this way. How do you see more of the participation from voters to really make that impact?
I think it's really important that people take advantage of the fact that you've got the ability to contact your local legislative leaders. You can do it by picking up the phone, writing a letter, showing up at one of their events. It's an election year. They're going to be out and about everywhere. We can take advantage of that. Make sure that our legislators or candidates for a given office are aware of the issues that are important to us. If we don't speak up, shame on us. How are they going to know? So, yeah, you might be too busy today, but you're not too busy every day. You can take the time, 5 minutes, pick up the phone, call, write a letter, do whatever you have to do. But it's really important that we as Connecticut residents start communicating with our legislators and our regulatory officials so they're aware of the issues that are key to us. Because without that education from us, how are they supposed to know what to do? So it's really important that we all work together. And I think that's something we can do actually very easily. I don't think it takes a lot of time, and just with a little bit of time, I think we can make great strides.
How can people get in touch with you?
You can give me a call at CBIA. My number is 860-244-1925. You can contact me via Twitter at CBIA Bonnie, B-O-N-N-I-E, CBIA, B-O-N-N-I-E. Or you can shoot me an email at Bonnie, BONNIE.Stewart, STEWART, at CBIA.com. I'd love to hear from people. We really want this to be a Connecticut initiative.
Very good, very good. I know that we had met over at the Hartford Business Journal breakfast. And are you still dealing with those type of events in keeping in touch with businesses?
Yes, it's really important that CBIA stay in touch with our members. So on a regular basis, we attend various events throughout the state. We hold some events of our own. We just had an economic conference. We've got another one coming up shortly. We also do a lot in terms of one-on-one member visits. If you've got something that you want us to hear about, you can either pick up the phone and call us or say, hey, can you come out to my facility? We're more than happy to get out there. The way we're most effective is when we're effective with Connecticut businesses and the people of Connecticut. So yeah, we're out there interacting on a regular basis. Not only is it fun, but it's imperative that we do it in order to meet the needs of the state.
Excellent. Well, we've come to an end of our segment here. Bonnie Stewart, Vice President of CBIA, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Again, you've been watching the Grassroots Business Journal. I've been your host, Paul Wilusz, talking business where small business is linked to the social media. Feel free to call in on any comments, and until next time, enjoy your day and keep talking business.